Here we are, we'll call it week 4 recap because we sort of skipped week 3 with spring break. So we got to recap a couple weeks into one. So let's go ahead and do our introductions again so everybody knows everybody. So let's start with you, Braden. First and last name.
Braden Hampton.
Carter Ross.
Chance Todd.
Conor Denny.
All right, so we got 4 all-stars right here. So we'll work our way sort of left to right. Let's start with a couple big games we had right at the end of March and early April. Braden, we'll start with you. March the 31st, looks like we 10-run rule Lincoln County 13-3, and then had a huge win over at my alma mater, Clay County 4-3. So will you talk a little bit about those 2 games?
So Clay County, if you look back at our last video, I actually predicted the score correctly on that one. So I knew we were getting into coming in. Trey threw well, and we just out-hit him, and we played good. We played solid, and that's all you have to do.
Carter came in for the save.
Yeah, Carter came in for the save, bases loaded.
This young man right here, Carter, came in. All right, bases loaded with how many outs?
One out.
1 out, and what'd you do for the second out? Was it a strikeout,
I
pop
think
out?
it was 2 Ks,
2 Ks. All right, Carter, bring it. I can't wait to get out there and see you guys. Okay, so that was 2 good wins going into the break, and that set us up going to Bardstown. And I know we had 4 straight days on the bus that you were probably not looking forward to because we got to get Coach to do a better job next year because we need to do something. You need warm weather down south for a little spring break baseball action. So we got 2 games in of the 4. So I was talking to Clark Duggar on the way down. He's my bus driver up here this week. But we had a game on April the 4th and April the 8th. So we actually had a few days in between without games. But we beat Meade County 3-2 and South Odom 6-2. Will you give us a little recap of those 2 games, Carter?
So the Meade County game, Chance started that game, threw pretty well. Meade County team was a very tough team, all around solid, hit the ball, made the plays that need to be made. Just fundamental baseball. Good ball club. South Odom started off with a kid.
He threw
What
really
was
hard.
your-
I'd say it's on high 80s.
Upper 80s. He was pounding the zone, keeping us off the bases, everything. Then they just they pulled him away, and then brought in another kid. And then that's when we finally got the bats rolling. Everything started to happen. Balls were falling, plays were happening. Everything went great after that.
So how did we finally get the starting pitcher knocked out of the South Odom game? Pitch count or wildness or walks, or why did they finally get him out and we were able to get to the number 2 pitcher?
So he plays on my travel ball.
You know
team.
him well.
So
Okay.
what he did is he actually had like an elbow injury. It wasn't anything like his UCL or anything, but he had some like growth issues. So that was the first time he had pitched all year. So he was on like a 25-30 pitch count. So it wasn't like he was pitching too many pitches. He just kind of had
Working him back in.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, as we all know, district and region is so much more important than these outer region games. They're still important, but you still can learn a lot about your team by throwing your number 3 or 4 or 5 starting pitcher and putting some people in different positions and playing them and experimenting and getting ready, because that's the whole thing. You got to get ready for postseason play. Okay, your season. I looked, and we still go on. We play all the way up until the end of school, so it's going to be pretty cool. You'll be graduated. You guys are all underclassmen, but we'll have some seniors already graduating, still playing baseball. So I'm hoping we're still playing late in the month of May because it'd be nice to be all the way up. Is the postseason still at the Lexington Legends Field? Or do you guys know?
UK now this year.
It's at UK now. Wow, big time, big time. Okay, so that moves us 4 straight wins going over spring break. So now we come out of spring break. Now we're back at school. So now we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we get ready to go to Chance with this one. Tuesday night, we happened to play rock. So Conor Denny was with me and had to leave Louisville to come back home and play in this big district game. So I appreciate him spending his time between FBLA and baseball. But, man, what some good pitching we had. Talk a little bit about, and Chance, I think you were the starter for that game. But what can you say about holding rock to 0 runs through 9 innings and we don't punch out the W?
Well, I had to start that game. Went 6 innings, 12 Ks, 3 walks, I think. Now I ran out of pitches, and then their starting pitcher, he went 8 innings, and he threw about the same amount of pitches I did through 8 innings, and he had 14 Ks. So it was a pitcher's duel that game. So, and what really they had some timely hits. We had many opportunities to win that game. Had bases loaded, 1 out, and didn't get any runs that could have won it in the bottom of the 7th. They could have put them away. But we jumped on top of them last night. So
We'll come
we
back to
took
last
care of
night
it.
here in just a minute. But Rock took a big win, big district win, 3-0 in 10 innings. So, it's sad that such good pitching there, and neither one of you got the win out of that game because we end up, traditionally high school baseball 7 innings, and this one happened to go 10. That was one of the longest games I know of that was scoreless through that long. So, excellent pitcher's duel. And like you said, it was unfortunate we didn't get the win. You get the bases loaded with one out at home. You got to punch that baby through to get the W. But then maybe something woke up in you guys the very next night because usually you play Tuesday, Thursday on your district games. And because of the weather, you decided to move it to Wednesday night, which was last night, April the 13th, and we were able to go to Rock last night. So, Conor Denny, let's talk about the Rock game.
Well, we came out pretty hot in the first couple innings, and then things kind of died down because they scored 2 and we had 4. And then was it the top of
Top
seven?
seven.
Top 7, we came out and we scored 7 more runs or 5 more runs with 2 homers.
So it was
In the top
still
seven.
still close. Anybody's game going to the 7th, and the
Yeah.
top of the 7th, you guys broke it wide open.
Yep. And
Okay,
what-
who had her dingers in the 7th?
Let's see, you had Bryson hit one and Marshall hit one. And
Jace
Jace hit one earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Jason was the
So you're talking about all 3 boys from my entrepreneurship class hit home runs.
Yep.
Bryson Duggar, his wrist is getting better.
Mhm.
So now we just got better because we got another weapon in the outfield. So he's got a lot of speed. So, he should be able to, I think he plays infield and outfield, doesn't he? But a lot of you mix up and go to different positions. So let's talk about that real quick. Braden, if you're not pitching, what position do you play?
I'm on the bench.
You're starting pitcher only. You're old
Yeah,
school. You're
yeah.
either pitching or on the bench.
Yeah, I play first base and JV sometimes, and that's about it.
Okay. Well, you're a very tall sophomore, so you might still have another growth spurt going in. Carter, what positions do you play?
pitching, varsity, other than that, catching JV, hit JVs.
So you're a varsity pitcher, and you're sort of like Braden. Then you go to the bench if you're not starting pitching. All right, well, are you a reliever or starter?
Depends.
Depends on what he needs.
Yeah.
A
to mix it
reliever
in
as
for
a
coach.
blade.
Yeah. So
Okay.
far, I've been
Sounds like a shutdown reliever from what we heard earlier. So excellent job, Carter. Okay, so Chance, we know about you. You're a starting pitcher, but they also move you around in a lot of years, I think. Thankfully, your injury at the start of the year, we thought you were done maybe after one game. So it was scary. So you're back out there in full effect, which we're all happy for. So what are you playing if you're not pitching?
Either third or second base. That's where I've been at so far this high school season.
I feel like third is a little harder to play than second from my days of softball because with baseball you can really turn and it's a hot zone. So if they're going to bring you on to third, odds are it's got some pepper on it. Whereas with second, a lot of times, especially with right-handed batters, it could be they just missed it and sort of hit behind, and it's a little easier to play second. What's your thoughts?
I agree with you. Third base is definitely a hot corner. That's where I majority play at when I'm not on the mound. I like it over there. You got to have some quick reaction.
Yes, you do. You cannot take time off like you could in the outfield to be thinking about what you're going to do tonight or what you're going to eat for supper, because if you're not ready, you could pay the price.
Yep.
Okay, Conor Denny, how about you? What positions do you play?
I'm an outfielder.
So do they
That's
mix
it.
you around? Are you right field, left field, center field?
Usually you're right field.
Right
It's
field.
Usually, yeah. When it depends on pitchers, usually for me. So if one of our outfielders is playing, I usually go in. So it just really depends.
Gotcha. Okay, let's get ready to talk about upcoming schedule. Usually we play on a Thursday. You guys won't know what to do. You're off this Thursday. So that'll be a pretty good feeling that you guys can go do something else. Looks like the weather may clear up and we might have a decent afternoon. So I know you'll have practice this afternoon, then you'll have a free. We've got Southwestern coming up on Saturday. I think the game's at 4 p.m. at home. Then next week is 2 more district games. Next week is probably the ones that Mr. Murray wants the worst, and I don't know about you guys, but Somerset. I always want to beat them. I don't care what we're doing. We need to be the dominant team in the county. So we're at Somerset on Tuesday, and then Somerset is home on Thursday. Looking at this, Southwestern's struggling a little bit. They're in a rebuild mode. You guys have already beaten them twice on the season? Once. I noticed on the schedule we play them 4 times this year. 4 times. So that's crazy but it's nice because it's almost like a home game because it's not that far a drive over there. So not to look past Southwestern, but we do have 2 big district games coming up at Somerset and Somerset at home. Somerset is 6-8 on the season. What do you guys expect out of that matchup with Somerset going into next week? So I'll start in reverse order this time. Connor, give your thoughts on those 2 big district games.
I'm expecting a win for both games.
I like that.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I just don't think that they have the pitching staff that we have, because I think our pitching staff is solid through and through, and I don't think that they can compete with that
So
in
we're
either game.
we think the pitching is definitely going to be the
I
difference
think
here.
the pitching is going to be the differentiating factor.
Now, in the past, they've always had really stout pitching, so I guess
Yeah.
they've lost
Well,
some
they
because.
lost, how many did they lose? 10, 11?
Yeah, they lost.
Pretty much
they
their
lost
whole
team last year.
Wow.
varsity
Okay.
team last
So
year. They
definitely a
lost.
rebuild year for Somerset this year,
Yeah.
but they won't stay down too long because we know they're a pretty solid baseball program, and I saw Danville really took care of business over there, but Danville was in class by themselves. But the game was a blowout versus Danville when we just couldn't hit against Danville, but they certainly didn't blow us out. But Danville seems to be top of the region. We want to get there. Chance, what's your thoughts going into the Somerset games?
I'm gonna have to go with Denny, our pitching staff. It looks really solid right now, and especially after last night's Rock game, I feel like our energy. We really seen how well we could play against. Well, they're ranked number 5 in the state. Rock was, so it was a big win for us last night, and I feel like that's gonna put us above what we thought we were.
So you're telling me Rockcastle County was the number 5 ranked team in baseball in the state of Kentucky?
They
So-
dropped.
They were number 5 ranked at the beginning of the week.
Okay.
They
According
dropped
to
to
KHSAA.
11. So,
Dropped to
but
11, but still
that's
you're beating a top 11
yeah.
team in the state, and at the time you said 5th ranked team, so we're not too far away. Maybe we're not too far away from breaking the polls. Carter, what's your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's going to be a district game. It's Pulaski versus Somerset, so you got to expect a dogfight going in. But hopefully, I agree with Denny and Chance. I think our pitching staff is tremendously a lot better than anything that they really have. I think we're swinging the bat really well right now, so I think we should take care of business Tuesday and Thursday.
All right, Braden, I'm going to assume you're going to get the ball in one of those 2 starts. You got any sort of nerves in this type of game, or what do you
no.
expect?
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I get to throw Tuesday because I like throwing away games. And if I'm on the mound, then we're going to be chucking. So
What's the big difference between throwing on a away game and throwing a home game? What makes it such a better experience for you that likes that pressure? Some people just like the pressure. So what is it that you like
I think
about
it's
it?
that, whenever I'm at home, I can't get the same like adrenaline on the mound as when I'm away games.
It's that pregame bus snap.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's the buzz.
what it is.
That's what gets you ready.
You don't end up bus snap going over to Somerset.
No, but it's, the atmosphere is just it's gonna be awesome. The stands are gonna be crowded. We're gonna have people going crazy in both dugouts. It's just gonna be fun games, and looking forward to it. So.
Sweet. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more recap here, and we'll get ready to end things up. A question for you so far. Let's start with Conor Denny. Conor, what's the toughest pitcher that you've faced this year so far of all the games we've had? We're sitting at 9-4, so we've played 13 games. Would we say the Rock pitcher?
I didn't hit against the Rock pitcher.
Okay.
So the hardest one that I've faced probably was Wayne County's pitcher. Because I couldn't time him.
Okay.
Because he was throwing too hard.
Was it a
I
good,
couldn't.
just the fast stuff, or was it a good change of pace
It was-
with the
it was
pitches?
both. Because
Okay.
he had a really good fastball, and then he had a pretty good curveball too. So I just could never time him up.
Okay, how about you, Chance?
I'm either gonna have to go with Saul Schaefer from Rockcastle, or I'm gonna have to go for Danville's pitcher. He shut us down.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really
Baxter. Yeah. I forgot about
So,
Baxter.
so Danville may be 1 and the Rock pitcher number 2, or 1A and 1B
Yeah.
for things. Carter, same for you?
Yeah, they were just.
Well, you and Braden don't get to swing the bat, but you could sort of tell. You're a pitcher, so you can tell who's bringing it out there and sort of know who's the toughest pitcher that we faced so far. Okay, so who's swinging the good bat for us right now, guys? Who's still staying hot? Obviously, nobody's hot in the 0-3 loss to Rock, but we're talking about 3 home runs last night, and we had the Meade County and the South Oldham games too. Pitching's been really good. I mean, I look at this, we've given up 3 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs. Guys, that is solid. I mean, I'm sitting here doing the math. We got 9, 11, 13, 15 runs in 6 games, so 2.5 runs per game. You're going to win a lot of games like that in high school baseball, unless our bats are just supremely off a night or two. So, Braden, who's swinging our hot bat right now? Who are you going to give like the MVP of the last couple of weeks to?
I think I haven't taken a look at the stats recently, but Mason's been Mason's just. He's
Boy, his
killing
name
the
keeps popping up when we do
ball.
these
He just
interviews.
kills the ball. I swear, every time he goes up there. He didn't hit one.
Now, is
out
Mason a
last time.
sophomore?
Yes.
Okay, I need to meet Mason.
Yeah, he's just no words. He just every time he's up in the box, you're scared the ball's gonna go. Lord knows where.
Shout out to Mason.
Yeah.
Carter,
Probably Mason too.
Pro-
He's just been hot since the start.
been hot
Stayed
since the start. Okay, you know we had a lot of Jace early on, so Jace may be cooling off, but we're getting Mason hot. What about you, Chance?
I'm gonna have to go with Mason too. Just
Mason
everywhere.
getting the votes out there. We like it. We know he's getting on base when he's up. Connor, clean sweep.
All three of our first three hitters have been pretty hot. Brady had the first hit in the Rock game here.
One and only hit.
Yeah, one and only hit here when it was scoreless through the ninth. But I got to give it to Chance simply because he, anytime that he's up, you can pretty much count on him being on base. That's what makes him such a good leadoff hitter, because he's always on base and he's always making things happen and stealing bases. And
You know, I hate to make this thing long, but it's like getting in good conversations with you. It's one of those things where over spring break, I catch Moneyball on TV, and I'm always, if I see it, I'll watch it. I'm sort of addicted to it. What do you guys think about Moneyball? I think the same thing. You got to have base runners, and they got to be on there. And we don't care if they get on there by hits or walks or what it is to get them on base, but you got to put pressure on that infield and that pitcher for things. You guys big Moneyball people like me, or you guys even like the movie?
I totally agree with you.
I was gonna say something. Well, whenever we mentioned hitters just a second ago, you know, Brady Kane. You know, he doesn't always have the most pop off the bat, but he has like 17 singles right now, so he's consistently putting the ball in play and he's getting on base with it. And he's been really solid for us too, and that's why I say Moneyball, putting the ball in play and get on base.
yeah,
It's so important. He's the leadoff batter, right?
No, I think
Chance is leadoff. Okay, where's Brady bat?
Third.
So that's why you're saying 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then Mason's our second.
Wow. Okay, so we're coming out of the gates blazing right here with Chance and Brady and Mason. Who's our cleanup?
Jason.
Jace Fry. Okay, Jace, our first baseman. What's Jace play?
Left fielder.
He's left field. Boy, you guys got a lot of outfielders mixing and fooling around with things. Okay, so I'm getting out there Saturday. I was going to watch you the Saturday the cold weather hit and the game got canceled. So we'll be out there this Saturday watch you guys. Hopefully 10-run rule Southwestern. Now, last time you played, it was only 6-2. So what happened in the 6-2 victory against Southwestern versus? Well, you only played them one time though, right?
Yeah, we only played one
You
time.
only played them one time. So 6-2 surprises me. I felt like that was a little close.
It was a little close for my likings.
Okay.
Is it more than that?
I think it was more.
Yeah,
Was it?
KHSAA messed up the game.
Let's bring it up on the app because I don't want to tell
I think-
people.
I
We
think
beat
we did
Meade
10.
County
Yeah,
62.
Yeah, I think we did. I think it's 12-2.
Yeah, I think it was 12-2.
12-2 sounds a whole
Yeah.
lot better.
When
for
we beat
things.
Southwestern.
12-0 in 5 innings.
Okay, maybe we
Yeah.
Okay. So I better correct that real first. So hopefully we get something like that again on Saturday, but let's don't overestimate them before we come in. We talked about pitching, so last thing I want to talk about is pitching. We got so many good pitchers. I know we got 3 of them sitting here right in front of us, but we just talked about these stats, and that's amazing when we talk about 3-3, 2-2, 3-2 runs. So if you're not giving up that many runs, it's going to be pretty easy to be in every game, and you're never out of the game like us beating Southwestern 12-0, because you give them a 12 and you're out of the game pretty much unless you got a lot of big bats and a lot of hits coming up with these things. So who is you know, we talked early on, it was Trey. But also I talked to some people here that said Trey had some struggle command issues here a game or two. And I know it's going to vary because some games you'll get 3 or 4 hits and some games you won't get a hit. So everybody goes through cycles. Who is our pitcher that's bringing it right now? So Connor, right now, who's the guy on the mound, and like who's your starter pitcher and who's your reliever that you like to see come into the game right now? And it can change week to week basis, but as of right now.
I feel like the most consistent Chance for a starter. Hampton was dealing last week at Meade County. That's the best I've seen him pitch. But Trey's South, my bad. But Trey, he's not been able to locate his fastball for the last 2 or 3 outings that he's had. And then for a reliever, I got to go with Brady because he's just reliable. He's consistent. And I mean, he gave up 3 runs against Rock, but that was just some lucky hits because Brady's always consistent usually.
Okay.
I got to go with Brady for a reliever and Chance for a starter.
Chance, I know it's hard to toot your own horn here, but you know sometimes the confidence goes a long way. So you the man right now, or are you Dylan?
I'm doing pretty good right now, coming back. I mean, I come out the Rock game. I was pretty hot for that game. I'm always hot for district games. And Braden, he come in last night throwing pretty good, what'd you throw, 3 innings? 2 innings?
2 and a third.
So he threw 2 and a third, and he had 4 Ks, I think. So I mean, he was carrying them up, throwing pretty hard. Trey last night, he got back into it last night. He was pounding the strike zone again last night. I looked at his stats. I think it was 88 pitches, 49 strikes, so over 50%, just right at 50%. And then I like Carter as a relief pitcher. He's come in some big situations this year.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
us.
that with bases loaded with 1 out and you get 2 outs and nobody scores in the game, so that's huge. You can't mention enough in baseball about coming in with a pressure situation with men on base, and you got to come in and put the fire out, and how pumped up that's going to get your team coming into the. If you got bases loaded and you don't allow a run, I can't imagine how happy and high flying you guys are coming to the bench and just stoked over that pitcher running off the mound. So Carter, right now, who's dealing for you?
Starters, it's tough. Chance and Hamp here have been shoving as of late, so one of these 2 guys, reliever. Hamp's also been relieving quite a bit too. So
He's both starter and
both
reliever.
starter and reliever.
Okay, Braden, toot somebody's horn for me here.
Well, I just have to say, with Trey, you know, I love pitching with Trey because usually, well, I think the last few times I have pitched or come in relief, it's always me and Trey going back to back, and something about him, man. He gets the hitters off time, and I come in and we just go back to back against each other, and it's great. It's so much fun to pitch with him. What Denny was saying, he's been having some trouble with some, like his fingers, where he has smaller hands. He's having to grip the ball tighter, and his fingers are like getting blisters on them. So that's why he hasn't been able to locate his fastball as well. But I think it's just kind of where we're starting to get to mid-season. He's going to get back in rhythm, and he's going to be fine. So
May have to get him calloused up real good, so it doesn't.
But yeah, I love pitching with Trey. He's always fun.
Now this question will only be for Braden and for Chance. Since you guys are starters and Carter's the reliever, and I know you do both, Braden, but have you guys got your own catcher that you prefer that's out there for you, or have we got the one dedicated catcher? Because I know a lot of teams, they'll bring in a different catcher because they understand you better. And I know Kent Mayfield's probably going to sign in the pitches, but sometimes you could probably shake off the pitch and give the one that you really prefer to use during that particular at-bat. So do we have a dedicated catcher, or do we have one that you guys prefer that's out there for you catching? So I'll start with you, Braden.
It's got to be Mason. You know, Mason's probably I've maybe had a different catcher for 5 innings in the last 4 years outside of Mason. So Mason's caught me for forever.
Okay.
He knows exactly how I'm throwing. He just, I don't even know how to explain it. He always knows what I'm thinking. He always knows what I'm doing. And
I think it's super important to have a smart catcher.
yeah.
So can we say Mason's smart? That goes a long way. So same thing for you, Chance?
Yeah, Mason's going to be my catcher. He's probably one of the best in the region, in the 12th region. And he's just a sophomore. He's got a ton of room to grow.
Dude, I'm so stoked about this team this year and next year, and maybe the years beyond that, but it sounds like this year and next year is going to be extra special. So fans, we got to get out there. We got to start supporting the team. And guys, we've got to do something where we make a big wave here, and I'm going to come up with an idea here soon, but we need to get all of our teachers out there for one game, and maybe the students too. But you know, baseball, you don't really have beyond family a whole lot of fan base coming in for the games, and we need to build that up and show them how exciting it can be with things. And you know, maybe we throw this first game on Maroon Sports Network hopefully next Thursday night and see how things go against Somerset. But we've got special teams this year in baseball and softball. So I think the fans need to go out there and watch these games. And I've got a last question here for you. You know, I was watching baseball the other night, and I forget the name of the pitcher, and I should have it in my head, but I wasn't ready for the broadcast here today. But, you know, I want to see your thoughts on this, and it could be all four of you, even though Conor's not the starting pitcher. But the guy had a perfect game through 7 innings, and they pulled him. So who was that?
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw. If it's James Murray, I'm going to tell you I'm not coming off the mound. So that's just me. Coach, I'm fighting you if you're trying to pull me off the mound. Now, you guys have got 7-inning games. Let's imagine you've got a perfect game through 6 innings, and they want to bring Carter in for the 7th inning. And it's a perfect game, and you're up 1-0, 2-0. I don't care what the score is, but you've got the lead. It's a perfect game. And you've not hit your pitch count, because I know pitch count matters in baseball, but you could get through the inning hypothetically. You've got another 12 pitches to throw or whatever it may be, and the coach pulls you. What's your thoughts on that, Braden?
So Coach K, obviously our pitching coach, he's always been pretty transparent with things with us. So, and it's just with Kershaw, I think his response to the media about the whole thing was that, it's a team sport, and he's ready to go the whole season, because I think he's had some injuries these last few years. So I think the whole situation with that was that he's not trying to get injured, and it's a whole thing. But if I'm on the mound, I'm dealing.
Do you finish or do you come out?
I'm not saying nice things to Coach K, but I might allow him to pull me, but it won't be a nice interaction.
Okay. How about you, Carter? You're the starter pitcher and you're Dylan and you got 6 perfect innings.
Well, honestly, probably all depends on how my arm feels. So if my arm's kind of gassed, then I might give it up. But if I'm still on the adrenaline and still filled with it and feeling the zone and everything, then I'm probably gonna try my best to stay on the mound.
Okay, let's try Chance Todd here. He's already been injured this year. So I know it wasn't the arm, it was the leg.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts?
If I'm feeling good, I'm gonna say I want to stay in. But also, you gotta watch your arms, especially early in the season, like that Kershaw situation. He's been hurt, and I think he agreed that he needed to come out. He didn't want to go over and re-injure himself and then be out for the whole year. So you gotta learn in baseball, you have to learn your own body. So it's just one of those debatable situations.
And that's why analysts are mixed 50-50 on the call. So you got a lot of them support the call and a lot of them don't support the call. So I guess like you said, you got to know your own body with things. And you know what he is, though? He's a multi-millionaire many times over. So if he got hurt, big deal. I'm still rich for the rest of my life. Whereas if you're a first-year pitcher, then you got a lot more risk on the line than somebody's been established for many years like he has. Connor, I know you're not a pitcher, man, but what's your thoughts?
Well, with his situation, I get it, I guess, but I'm just saying, if it was me, I ain't coming out. Because, I've pitched many a JV game, and I've been hurting, so it ain't that big of a deal for me. Just take some arm candy and get over it.
Okay, and I know, it's different too, because these guys mentioned they're thinking of the full season of things.
Yeah.
And right now, pulling you out may be acceptable, but you get in that district tournament or regional tournament, you got a perfect game. Coach, you ain't pulling me out in the district tournament or the regional tournament.
No. It's a whole different level too, because these guys are making millions of dollars, and I'm pitching JV for a high school team. So.
Yeah, well, but you also play for the love of the game right now, and I think
Yeah.
that's the best part of it, when you're playing, because it's passion, you love it, and you love your brothers in arms, and you guys will do whatever you want to do for each other, and I think that's great. Okay, last thing off the air, guys, let's make some predictions. So, Brayton Hampton, you were so perfect in that Clay County game, 4-3, and I know Chance Todd had won another week when he barely missed one by 1 run, so you guys have been all over things right now. So let's go ahead and predict at Somerset and at home versus Somerset. So we're going to do 2 predictions. I'm not going to do the Southwestern game, so we're just going to do at Somerset and then Somerset at home. Connor, let's start with you, and I'm going to put these on the network for next week.
Okay, at Somerset, I'm going 6-2 us. And then at home, I'm going 4-0 us.
Okay, Chance Todd?
Away, I'm going 8-1 us. At home, I'm going 12-2 us.
Man, I tell you what, we're putting bulletin board material out there if they watch Marine Sports Network.
Well, let's go 6.
6 innings.
6 innings. Carter?
Away, I'm probably gonna go with the Rock score last night, 9-2.
Okay.
And home, let's go. Say 10-4.
10-4. Okay. And Braden, my master that hit the last game at Clay County. What do you think?
I was gonna go with 9-2, but since Carter said it, we'll go 10-2 away game and 8-0 home game.
Wow. there we have it. Okay, guys, we got 3 games coming up. So fans, let's get out there this Saturday, Southwestern, 4 o'clock. Get there early because we plan on run ruling them. So I'm sorry, Mr. Gover, for Southwestern, but it's going to happen with my boys because they're going to promise they're going to deal here on Saturday. So beautiful weather. I think it's going to be probably mid-60s, and a 4 o'clock game time is a perfect time of day to come watch the team. So get there and watch your boys play. And then next Thursday, let's make sure we're here against the Bunny Jumpers. We want to win every game, and we'll see what happens on Tuesday. But regardless, on Thursday, these guys are trying to earn a #1 district seed. And that big win over Rock 9-2, I think run differential. Did you tell me earlier Chance was the difference? So they beat us by 3 and we beat them by 7. So now we've got the driver's seat as long as we've got the same record for the end of the year. Here's one thing that surprised me, and I keep adding things. Did you see Casey County beat Somerset 6-2?
It's interesting.
We'll leave it
They beat
at
Somerset?
Yeah,
We'll-
Casey beat Somerset.
we'll leave it
I
at
hadn't even heard
we'll
of
leave it at that. So Casey may be moving up the food chain. So, but Pulaski is going to be at the top of the food chain. So we're going to be the T-Rex, and we're going to be eating the meat, right, guys?
Yes,
Sir.
All right, thank you guys. Until next Thursday.